Hi all, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. Right, today I thought I would share um, something that I've been after for a while, and it is the 2022 remastered version of Revolver. It is the 2-disc set. Now, I am late to the party on this. I'm sure, people have reviewed this ages ago, obviously, probably years ago now. But I am not one of these people who can, well, I'm just not one of the fans who will just go out and get the latest remaster or box set of newly released Beatles or remastered Beatles material. Um, Simply, well, um, I like the Beatles, I do, massively my favourite band, um, but, you know, and also I couldn't afford to buy some of that stuff. It's just way out of my league. But for what I can get, I'm happy. And so being able to get this was something that I had wanted to do for quite a while. Now, this original copy that I had was the obviously when they first brought out the Beatles albums on CD. So of course this was in the days when it was literally you got your analog recorder, of course, and you basically got your analog tracks and plonk them on compact disc. So basically, not a lot of remastering went into it. I think this might have been around, I can't remember now, maybe 87, 82, something like that. Doesn't really say on here. But anyway, I did pick this up. This was before the internet, believe it or not. So I picked this up at a secondhand CD record store run by somebody that was a really decent guy. I bought loads and loads of heavy metal and rock stuff off him, but he also had quite a nice, tidy collection of Beatles material. And so when this was in, this was the one I wanted ever since I'd seen it on vinyl at my friend's house many moons ago. So yeah, I like this album. It is my favourite. I've got to be honest. Out of the Beatles stuff, I do like Taxman. I've probably heard too many times. I've got to be honest, but my favourites are, Tomorrow Never Knows is my all-time favourite Beatles psychedelic song. I like things like Dr. Robert, which I think is brilliant. And Your Bird Can Sing. I'm Only Sleeping. She Said, She Said. There's just so much good stuff on here. And I appreciate this album. However, I know that if I put this on if I put this on in the car, which I used to be able to do until we swapped it and we ended up with one of these Bluetooth thingy jigs, um, a certain member of my family could get quite annoyed by it because it seems a bit jarring, tinny sort of a tinny sort of sound to it. So if you obviously put it on, it's like it's more sort of that sort of wavelength, I guess, which gets to them. It doesn't bother me so much, I've got to be honest. But when the opportunity came out to be able to buy the 2022 version, which I've been meaning to do for a while, I did jump at the chance and I purchased it. So I was quite excited to get this. And one of the first things I did put on was Tomorrow Never Knows, because a friend of mine back in 2009, he bought the remastered Revolver then. And when I heard it, I have to be honest, I was not impressed at all, because I thought, for me, you see, on the normal, I guess, analog to digital version, the power of the drums that Ringo plays on Tomorrow Never Knows. Now on this, the one I bought, I thought, wow, it sounds good. It has a bit of impact. On the 2009 version, it just lost its magic to me. It just lost something. So I got to be honest, with Trepidation, I did play Tomorrow Never Knows as one of the first tracks on here, and I must admit I was very, very pleased. It hasn't lost any of the power, which is fantastic. Um, it does sound really good. Um, and one thing I am impressed about with this 2022 Revolver remix and remaster is the fact that Paul's bass very much stands out. And it's great because it really, really does work well on this album anyway. I mean, it is a real, obviously, it's a backbone of a lot of the music here. So it's been really interesting to listen to this stuff again. Um, and, that said, the main thing I notice on here is that it is a lot clearer. The instrumentation has been, obviously they've been able to capture, or Giles Martin's been able, and the AI system they're using has been able to capture each of these individual instruments. And I've got to be honest, it really has brought the sound to life, and it's just transformed this album, which I think is already a masterpiece, to an even better, greater level than ever before. So yeah, I've got to be honest, I enjoy it. Fantastic. It's been done really well. It's not really lost any of its magic. To be able to hear the guys and the instruments even more clearly than you could before, not only on this um, first, analog to disc version, but also the 2009 version. It really, really has surpassed all of those copies, and I think it's just, if you're going to own any of the remastered versions of Beatles albums now by Giles Martin, I would recommend without a shadow of a doubt Revolver, because as I say, having listened to this and being able to hear these, instruments and that, so clearly, really, and you know, you can tell they've been, separated and enhanced. It's fantastic to hear. It really, really is. It's just a joy to listen to this album. And it just makes it sound so fresh and so alive and together, really. It just doesn't sound like like the really early version of thrown together, uh, hash, really, of everything. And I'm not saying it was a hash project. It wasn't. I'm just saying that when they decided to put the Beatles material on CD, obviously it was a quick, oh, right, let's get every bit of material we can off every band onto CD and we can make some money. But obviously over time, these things have been remastered and treated with the reverency that they deserve, and with the respect and mastery um, that they deserve also. As I say, mastery in terms of getting the sound as best as they possibly can. The bonus disc, I've got to be honest, that was a nice surprise to have, because it has two stereo versions, remastered of the two songs which were not on Revolver, which are Paperback Writer and Rain. And both of these songs, they do sound fantastic. I got to be honest. And for the bonus alone of this disc, I know there's outtakes on it, etc. But and when I say outtakes, you know what I mean. You know, first sort of take of a certain song, etc. That sort of thing, which are great in itself. Hearing how they're working in the studio together and how to hear all this stuff like at its basic level, but to have the bonus of those two tracks, Paperback Writer and Rain, which I think are just absolutely brilliant, brilliant tracks. Always love Paperback Writer; it's just fantastic. Killer guitar on it, excellent intro. Is brilliant. It's wonderful. You also get a really good booklet with it, going into more depth. Sorry, more depth about the album itself. So you got plenty to read there. Loads of stuff in here. You know, different sort of photographs and history. Yes, I would like the 5 CD set if I could afford it, but I can't afford it, not at the minute anyway, until I win the lottery. So I'm making do with this, and I am very, very happy with it. So this is really good. This is how remastering a Beatles album, in my opinion, should be done, and it's been done fantastically. So well done to Giles Martin. So yeah, brilliant album. I know a lot of people are asking for the remastered Rubber Soul album. Whether we'll get that, I don't know. But at this moment in time, I know that I now have my eye on the Beatles White Album 23 remaster with the Esher sessions, not Escher, as somebody quite rightly corrected me on the other day. So I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, Revolver remastered 22, sorry, by Giles Martin, fantastic. However amount of remastering you get, it will never for me be able to lift Yellow Submarine, but there you go. So what? It's a great song anyway, but not my favourite. But fantastic album. So yeah, go and check that out. And thank you for watching, folks. Bless you all. See ya.